Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. We are doing an update on the main card of UFC 198 now with Nick Kalikas, now that the Anderson Silva fight has been canceled. Nick Kalikas from MMAOddsBreaker.com. Thanks for being back with us. Nick Kalikas, the over in the Anderson Silva-Uriah Hall fight was probably my top MMA play of the year so far. That fight was going to go the distance. Anderson Silva was not going to go into his hometown and risk getting knocked out. At the same time, Uriah Hall wasn't going to go in there and go in, up against a legend and try to push the issue, try to knock him out or risk getting knocked out himself. Silva was going to go in there, have a nice showing, probably win a unanimous or split decision. Hall was going to go in there, go the distance with a legend, and the over was going to cash so easily. Nick Kalikas.
I wish it would have played out. We would have seen, because there's a lot of people that would disagree with you, obviously, on all of that take. But, I mean, you have an aging Silva with the declining chin a little bit. A lot of people were expecting maybe Uriah Hall to get him, to knock him out. But again, as we said when we taped the first part, you're probably right, because not many people are expecting it to go down like that. So you go against the grain, and it makes sense. And again, we mentioned the hesitation and the tentativeness of both guys at times as well. So yeah, you might have hit that. So it's unfortunate that we're not going to get to see it.
We're going to analyze the Bryan Barberena and Warlley Alves fight right now, but first let's just have a few words about the future of Anderson Silva. He feels, from all reports, every interview he's given, he's just going to keep fighting, until further notice. Do you expect him to be overvalued in his upcoming fights in general?
He probably will. I mean, it depends. If he suffers another or a devastating loss, he's going to probably hang him up a little bit early anyway. I know fighters don't want to go out that way. But I would suspect that he does. So, yeah, I think he's going to be overpriced, overvalued a little bit. I mean, you got to give the guy the respect for sure. And as I mentioned in the first part that we did, I think when he does pick up the pace, when he's not as tentative, he can definitely still be effective offensively. It's just trusting that aging chin. Obviously, you can't put a lot of faith in that as well. So that's why, if anything, it'll be a little bit overvalued, because he's a little bit too tentative right now. And, of course, that chin is probably going to let him down in the future as well.
All right, well, we'll see where he fights next. As of right now, we've got Bryan Barberena and Warlley Alves replacing the Anderson Silva fight on the main card. And Alves, of course, won the Ultimate Fighter Brazil. A huge favorite here, minus 650. And Barberena, of course, was a big underdog against Sage Northcutt. A prospect with a lot of hype around him. And Barberena subbed him. Right, got the upset win, and here he is, an even bigger underdog against another highly touted prospect. Alves doesn't quite have, the hype that maybe you would expect him to have, but certainly as far as the betting lines are concerned, he's getting a ton of respect here. Minus 650. Barberena is tough. Should he be this big of an underdog? I'm not exactly sure. How's the betting gone for this one?
Everybody's betting Alves. I mean, it's parlays, it's straight bets. They're all over it. So the sports books are probably, the ones that came out early, are probably going to take a loss if it goes down and Alves does win, which obviously he's a big favorite for a reason, and the public have that much faith in him for a reason as well. So they probably get this one. But stylistically, it's an interesting matchup, because Alves is a great fighter, no doubt about it. He also has the ability to finish like a lot of people or prospects up and coming do not. I mean, he can sub you. He can finish you on the feet as well. I mean, the hype around him is legit, because he is that talented. But he does have a few concerns, and one of them being cardio. And the funny thing is about Barberena, I mean, he's not the flashiest guy. That's why I think people kind of underestimate him a little. Yeah, I mean, he's not going to go out there and just light you up on the feet. He's not going to go out there and out-grind you and out-wrestle you. I shouldn't say he's not going to out-grind you, because as people fade, he does have a tendency to actually do that. He picks it up as a fight goes on, and usually when his opponents fade, that's when he can have success and do the most damage. I mean, he weathered the storm early against Sage Northcutt and got the job done in round 2. And that's a typical Barberena fight. I mean, as you see him in round 2 and round 3, usually that's kind of his best rounds as the fight goes. And for Alves, it's the opposite. He does tend to slow down. So if you can weather Alves' storm in round 2 and round 3, he probably will have a little bit more success. But still, I mean, it's a tall task, because, again, Barberena isn't that guy that's just going to go out there and just dominate you in any particular area. It's just his toughness, and it's his ability to have the heart and hang in there to get the job done. I don't know if he could do that, though, against Alves. That's why people are crazy betting the number, even at this price. Insane. I mean, they have no hesitation at all.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Barberena is at a big disadvantage here, but everyone thought roughly the same thing against Northcutt, and look what happened there. So would this be a dog or pass situation for you at the current lines, minus 650, and Barberena plus 475 on the other side?
Yeah, it is definitely a dog or pass situation where it is now. I bet him against Sage. I was so glad everybody, the hype around Sage. I knew that he wasn't quite ready yet. So Barberena is one of those tough guys. They probably could outlast him and come through. Now in this spot, honestly, I mean Alves is not Sage Northcutt. Alves is a level above Sage Northcutt as far as overall skill, and I think even finishing ability. So it's hard for me to trust Barberena in this spot as much. I mean, like I said, I thought he had his shot against Sage. I don't really have that confidence against Alves as much. So it is a dog or pass situation. But if you're gonna take the dog here, it's more of a little flyer than anything else. You know what I mean? Because you cannot put a lot of faith in Barberena in this matchup. It's almost like the UFC is saying, "Hey, you just beat one of our up and coming prospects, a guy that got a ton of hype. Here you go. We're going to feed you the sharks." They're kind of pissed at him. It seems like, right? They're feeding him to the wolves. So it looks that way.
Yeah, and do you have anything to say about the total? I mean, obviously, you've given the opinion that if Barberena wins it, it's probably going to be in the later in the fight, and Alves, it'll be earlier in the fight. Right now, the total's 1.5 rounds. The over is -125. The under +105. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe -125, maybe a shot with the over. We have anything to say about the total, Nick?
Yeah, if anything, maybe a shot with the over because of what you said and the toughness of Barberena. Man, he's got no quit in him. But I am concerned if Alves is the type of fighter that if he gets around your neck in that guillotine choke, it's over. You can't. I mean, you're not going to get out of it. So if Barberena's not careful, maybe goes for a takedown, sticks his neck in there, it's going to be over if he gets that wrapped up. And then also we got to worry because Barberena does get hit a lot, and I mean he got cut open against Sage Northcutt. Alves is probably going to land on him as well. So cuts are always a concern as far as to certain fighters. And I think Barberena with the defensively, I mean he's a tough guy, but he does get hit a lot. So there's a concern there as well. But if I had to pick over under 1.5, I would probably go over, and a lot of that is based on how tough Barberena is.
Okay, Nick Kalikas, this fight's going to be a pass for me. I'm still, just thinking about that money I would have put in my pocket from betting the over in the Anderson Silva fight. Thanks for your comments on this one, and we'll talk again very soon, Nick.
Thank you.